Yeah, change of plans. I know I said during the last stream, we were gonna focus on, pretty much activating all the activities, turning them into proper quests and everything like that. We pretty much did. And I'll show you the majority of them. One of them, no, I don't think the activities bugged, but one of the miscellaneous missions are bugged right now, which I don't know if it's fixed since I turned off the game and restarted it and everything like that. So it could be fixed, but yeah, we still have this, and oh, I think this is the one that either is bugged or I don't have the notes anymore, which I didn't know I had. It's optional though, and since it's an optional thing, I'm kind of wondering, well, what I'm kind of wondering is if I can go to, I guess, the office of who we're trying to incriminate for doing, I don't know, some crime, and kind of do that, because I probably didn't actually didn't take the notes, and the notes are probably still on Mars somewhere, and I could probably get it easily. So I could do that. And then we have the, the whole cargo missions from mission boards, which aren't really essential, but it's trying to show you like how to do cargo links between certain areas. And I think I have to kind of look up a tutorial for that. So that's on hold. We're probably not going to really focus on that. We still have a bunch of miscellaneous quests, and we of course have our last two faction quests. I don't think there's any other faction within the game that I know of, unless you can join the house, so and so. I don't know if you can, but yeah, from what I know from everyone talking about like factions and all that, you have SysDef, which is a part of the UC. You have the Vanguard, which is part of UC, which we've done both of those. And I think the only things now I need to do is the Reunion Industry and Freestar Collective. This is pretty much ongoing because I think you just have to come across evidences as you play the game. So if you pick up like I don't know, evidence of a crime or someone, to pretty much incriminate someone, go to her and do that. So I think that's ongoing. I don't know if there's a quick way to do it. It doesn't point you in any direction. And since it's a game where it has a star chart and everything like that, yeah, it's kind of hard to find out like what planets have what when it comes to evidence. So that one, I don't know if we'll actually be able to complete on stream, but we'll definitely try and finish those. And then of course the main story. So my plan is pretty much, just kind of going through it in a more natural sense instead of going from oldest to newest. And I don't know, if I kind of look at it, if you kind of look at how oldest to newest works, you have, it looks like I picked up that quest before these. So I guess as I was walking to the lodge, I must have heard something or talked to someone, and it popped up this quest to put in an application for the industry. But however, I do have a little bit of the itch to do, at least push the main story a little bit to a certain point today. So I might just do that, so that way I can get some of the bigger picture in Starfield, because we really don't know, at least for this playthrough anyway. People have already beaten the game and everything like that, because there are just people that focus on the main story. But this is a Bethesda game, and most people play Bethesda games just not even touching the main story. So we're gonna break a little bit of tradition today and try and get the main story going a little bit, at least only to a certain point, to where we can find a really good, nice, comfortable stopping point, and see where we can work with in there. And apparently there are some crazy things within the main story. Like, a lot of people said that, oh, you know, it wasn't very eventful or something like that. So it's like, well, we'll see. Most Bethesda main stories are not the greatest, but however, there are some really cool missions within the main stories of Bethesda games. So hopefully we'll come across those. And if we don't, at least we'll be closer to the ending of the game by the time we finish the stream today. So I'm planning on that. So we're moving on with the Empty Nest quest. So we'll do that and see where it goes. And yeah, as I say, the main story offers a lot in like new weapons, apparently ships. You'll get some more free ships apparently. So it's like, okay, you know what? That's a little bit more enticing too. I don't know what the maximum amount of ships you can have, but I guess we'll find out. So yeah, I think this is a good time to do it. We've put in a really good amount of hours so far, but yeah, this game is so huge that it's up to this point now to where it's like I'm really not gonna rush it, even though I put in a good amount of hours. I'm going to, since I have that feeling to, for some reason, wanting to finish, I have a feeling it's like a minor case of burnout. So since it might be that, we're starting another game tomorrow. We're gonna have a nice little palate cleanser and all that. We'll play that Wednesday and maybe Thursday and Friday, and we'll come back to Starfield on the next Monday. So the upcoming Monday. So that's the plan anyway. And yeah, it's a thing. I'm thinking about certain things just to see how things roll, but I really don't want to miss out on some of the really cooler stuff. And we've come across some of the, like, you know, some quests that people do talk about. So we haven't missed anything too crucial to like the experience of Starfield. So now I just want to focus on what the main experience of Starfield is when it comes to the story. So we'll push that along a little bit today, see how it goes. So we're gonna go back to the lodge, talk to some more of the people. And I think if I push the main story too, we'll have more companions join as well, since we've had our handful of companions that we've been kind of working with. Sarah, Barrett, you know, Vasco, the Adoring Fan, which I don't think has a progression. He's just instantly, you know, max level of,
so peaceful and secure. It starts
you
to
know,
become a target. I guess that's
yeah.
why New Atlantis and even Sidonia have as much security.
So people like the Adoring Fan and all, I don't think you can build their relationship since they're already maxed out. But we already have another member since yesterday.
Tangled up with hope, grit, and science.
But yeah, as you can see, I only have so many pieces. I don't know how many pieces there are, but it looks like there's a pretty good amount of pieces to find. So if anything, this gauges where we are on the main story, I think. I don't know. I don't know if you have to fill up all the rings, like, you know, that empty space. Because you can see how much there is in empty space, and it looks like there's at least, I don't know, maybe minimum of 4 to even 6 pieces per ring, which probably is a total of either, I'm assuming 12 to maybe even, hell, it could be even 16 pieces.
I cannot wait to meet him. It's been ages
Sam
since
Coe.
Constellation has had someone new. I wonder what he's like.
Just go easy on him. Being interrogated by a kid ain't exactly the best way to make a first impression.
I'll limit it to...
And you must be the latest poor fool to get dragged into our dysfunctional little family. Whoa. I know a few dark sides of the Aquila Moons, but if you're looking for deep history lessons, well, I'm gonna fall asleep before you do.
Trust me. Don't encourage him.
Must be the daughter.
Hi.
Good to meet you, Cora.
Nice to meet anyone brave enough to fly the frontier.
So Sam Coe is a
Must be the new
companion.
engineer. Or maybe our new gunner.
Hey, don't spook our new friend. Frontier's a fine ship. Honest. Now, let's talk business. Sarah tell you about the expedition?
Only that is Freestar Collective space.
Sure enough. That's where we're heading. The three of us are heading to Aquila, first settled planet of the Freestar Collective and, not coincidentally, the home of their capital, Aquila City. We'll land in the city's spaceports, but the frontier's our goal. It's rough country. Spawned a lot of stories. And I got a lead on a tale that makes me think one thing. Artifact.
His voice actor's familiar too. Well, I'm ready. Let's all go.
Okay. We'll meet you on board your ship. Talk more when we get there. Once we land on Aquila, it's gonna be you and me. So if you want to do any freewheeling before then, Cora and I will just be riding passenger.
Dusty.
All right.
Dusty.
What?
Dusty.
So you just named me?
Oh, weird. I was just thinking. Well, never mind.
Okay.
Talk more later. Don't worry.
Why was he doing that? I did. What? What do you want? Ooh, before that, since I have a weapon or two, maybe even three, that need some mods, I'm gonna look at the mods real quick.
Well,
Barry, that was weird.
but
Stop it. Stop it. It's like he's trying to cock block me from the door.
Home sweet home. Or bittersweet home, I suppose.
Bittersweet. Since it's technically not your home. Let's do not the industrial bench. I keep forgetting where the actual good benches are. Oh yeah, weapon bench over here. Alright, what weapon needs a modification? Some of these are already mod. This one doesn't have any modification if I'm correct. So there's a sight on that bad boy. We can put a red dot, but we can't put... Alright, need to mark what I need. Because that's gonna overall increase the accuracy. And I think that mainly helps with hip fire too. Yeah, red dot. Muzzle. So we can do either or. That's... I don't know, it seems like, surprisingly enough, the, putting a silencer on a pistol is always great. Oh wait, can I not do it? Oh, muzzle mods too. Now I'm kind of thinking about it. 1 second. I might have some research I can complete, maybe. It just depends. Oh, yeah, I need all that. Well, maybe. Depends. Have that. Have that. Have that. Cool. Awesome-o. So we do have all that stuff. So we can do muzzle mods to... let's try and complete all the number ones. There's that. Yeah, let's do internal number ones. Need 0 wiring. Can't do that one. Let's do so 0 wiring. We're in some need. Alright, now we're starting to run low. Since we're starting to run low, I probably can't put any more mods on weapons and stuff like that. We're good there. Looks like I need to put more points into suit stuff. I'm probably not going to do food or pharmaceuticals. Or pharmology. Pharmology. But yeah. That'll give us a nice little pinpoint of what we need to have for materials. Which I'm always looking towards. Looking forward and all that. Alright. Looks like I just need to go back to my ship if I'm correct. La la. Or, since it is Starfield, so we could just jump to Aquila. Aquila. More like tequila. Yeah.
Aquila City is a tribute to human tenacity. You can't help but be impressed with what they've done in order to survive.
Yes. Hey, buddy boy.
All right, we're here. You ready? Because once we get started, I'm gonna be riding your tail till this is over.
Oh. Cool. Understood. Let's go. Sample lock. Okay.
There's something you should know up front. I'm a Co. As in Solomon Co., first man on Aquila.
No.
The tale I mentioned before, the one I think is connected to an artifact, it's something of a family legend. After planetfall, Solomon spent years mapping Aquila, and he found a tiny little patch of nothing on his sensors. The kind of nothing an artifact produces.
Ah.
Like the empty nest. Said it was a place even the wildlife of Aquila wouldn't go.
So even the wildlife were like staying away from it. Interesting. Well, it's fine. I guess we'll have to find this empty nest.
Solomon's maps are locked up tight in the local gal bank. We'll be heading there.
Alright. Since it's a part of your family, it shouldn't be too hard to get it. But we'll see, I guess.
Aquila City's always hopping.
So, how are you? Everything good?
I'm doing pretty good. Really, I've been pretty blessed to have the life that I do.
Oh, guess there, that's it.
Feels like I spent half my life trying to get out of this place.
And you just keep coming back. Yeah, I already did that little hostage situation thing. So, I guess if you were doing the main story, you would have had to somehow persuade those people with very low persuasion.
By preserving the heritage of Aquila City, sometimes working at this branch almost feels like being at a private museum. So many remarkable things stored safely inside.
Do you have a lot of people trying to rob your bank?
Not as much as we used to. Ever since Marshal Blake took charge of the Rangers, well, things have been a lot quieter. There was a time those lock gang boys would be in here so often, we used to joke they ought to just open accounts. Gotta hand it to Marshal Blake, though. He's really got them on the run. One thing I can say is I've never been a hostage before, and well, I think I've had my fill of that for a while. In a word, heirlooms. Some of the old families, those descended from the city founders, store objects of value here. Yes, we've got items in our vault that have been passed down from generation to generation. I like to think that the entire heritage of Aquila City is stored right here for safekeeping. And me? Well, I'm the protector of that heritage.
Well, cool.
Glad to have your patronage.
Oh, so are we free to go down there? I assume so. We're not gonna be trespassing, are we?
All right. The family has a few different deposit boxes secured in here, so let's look around.
It, that would be stealing and stealing.
Okay, now remember, Solomon was from an earlier generation, so it's not going to be this late.
Alien
Is what we're after.
bug paperweight and toy space shuttle. Okay. Note for Sam. With the dust, Newton's cradle. I got that note.
Oh, no. Jacob. Of course that old mule saw this coming.
Sounds like we need to talk to him, or is he dead?
Yeah, we do. I was hoping to avoid the estate when we landed. Cora's gonna be so mad.
See if we can persuade him.
We really gotta do this.
Yes.
Can't we just
Damn.
leave it? You're not wrong. I know, it's just personal. All right, fine. He's my dad, okay? We're not exactly on friendly terms. He probably figured I'd come for the maps at some point. Got ahead of me. Family business just wasn't something I wanted to get into, you know? Yeah, well, sorry I'm such a pain about it. No forgiveness between me and my old man. It's, co-tradition. All
He's
right, shall we?
I think he's the voice actor that plays the main character in the newest Deus Ex duo games. It's not a trilogy. They sadly never made that a trilogy. Yeah, I think he's the same voice actor that plays, already forgot the character's name, but, yeah. That guy. Yeah, I'm sure if anyone would know, it would be Zombie that would know the, voice actor. And the character that he plays in Deus Ex.
Keep your nose clean. Last thing I want is to
But yeah, that's definitely him because he has that smooth, raspy voice. It's kind of hard to hide that.
Central. Not a bad bar, too.
The Rock. Kansas City's kind of nice. Not gonna lie. I like the stone setting of things. It's different from all the other cities so far. Which every city has its own feel, which is nice. Is that your dad? Yep. Oh, ah!
Oh well. Samco finally decides to darken our doorstep again.
You know why I'm here.
Oh? And what's that? You come to your senses? Realize where you ought to be for once?
I ain't asking again.
You ain't asked once. Let's hear it. I want you to say the words about what's more important to you than family.
Okay, this was a mistake.
The only mistake I'm seeing here is you.
Damn.
Bringing your Constellation lackey here instead of my granddaughter. Come to help Sam loot his ancestry? You're not getting those maps. Full stop.
You have a broken nose. It's leaning to the left. I'll let Sam kind of do his thing.
I got just as much right to those maps as anyone else in this family.
That's exactly right, Sam. We all share Solomon's legacy. Only some of us are around to live up to it, and some of us aren't.
All right, that's enough. Come on, let's you and I talk. In private.
Welcome home, Sam. Make your visit short, okay? It's what you do.
Is there a fan above, Oh, that's why that lighting's doing that. I was gonna say, is there a weird lighting problem going on? It's like, oh, there's a weird fan.
Give me a sec.
You can tell the lighting's not the
All right,
greatest.
let's talk options.
Could speak to him, try and reason with him.
You're flying in the face of my 30-plus years experience with the man, but all right. I hope you like arguing.
Alright, let's do a quick save as usual. Oh, please don't. I was about to say, is it gonna freeze on me?
What do you want? Constellation?
Distraction?
Well, that's not your decision, is it? It's co-property by birthright. It stays here.
But...
Maybe you're right. Can't believe I'm saying this. But if it'll get you out of my hair, then fine. You can have the maps. They're in the other room, here. Key.
Ew. Is he gonna... Oh, okay. Or... Okay. He gave me the key. Solomon's map. Oh, you have one of those too, I see.
All right, let's see if we can find the empty nest. All right, let me think. The way I heard it, the readings he was getting were normal at first, then they bottomed out. And no creature, alien or otherwise, would dare step inside. There. Found it. Oh boy.
Well, what's the problem?
That's the problem.
Well, we can handle it, because we have plot armor.
Well, you ain't wrong. But let's take a look at what we're up against. First, it's in the middle of the frontier, which we already expected. No problems there, but the usual tussling with alien wildlife. But the empty nest is a cave right in the middle of Shawgang territory.
Oh.
Same outlaws who held up Galbank.
We can handle them easily, I bet.
Well, just remember, it's about the artifact, not them. Hurting bad guys puts a smile on your face, that's a bonus. Let's get to that cave.
I'm not worried about it. I've been dealing with a lot lately. It's one of those old school navigator or like, you know, map making things. Sexton.
If you're looking for a sidearm, I recommend Laredo's Firearm Factory. Built right here. There's Roland Arms if you're not a fan of Laredo.
Let me guess. Kind of wondering if I need to get out of the city and just walk there, or... Oh no. I think the game is trying to soft lock. I'm gonna give it a second. It could just be being slow, but it might not. Well, that would be what, the fifth soft lock of the game? Oh, well, thank you. Well, that's cool. Dragonition's on sale. Yeah, I'm probably gonna get a couple of those since I think on Xbox they have a new slew of games on sale. Which is nice that I get notifications when I have the money to do it. Horror Month is slowly approaching, so if I'm gonna get a game that's on sale or something like that, it's gotta be a horror game. And there's a couple of them. I know Resident Evil 4 is currently on sale, at least now. So I might think about that. 3 days, 10 hours. That's not a lot of time if you really think about it comparatively to most of the time you spend. This feels like the beginning. That's why I need to take that's why I need a palate cleanser if I'm going to constantly keep playing this game for the foreseeable future for now. I kind of should have done that with Tears of the Kingdom. Like, even though I was enjoying Tears of the Kingdom, I had that point after like 50 or 60 hours